Okay, now we will start our worship service. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to thank Conrad Homan, who put together this presentation this morning. And I hope you all enjoy our youth group service. All of our youth worked very hard to bring this to you. And it's our delight to be with you this morning at UUCW. Go for it, Conrad.
Way up high, and the dream that you did here to why, oh why can't
Today's chalice lighting is written by Jamie Dorer. As we light this chalice, we take those little sparks glowing within us all and combine them to create this flame.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Worcester's online Sunday morning youth group service. We are glad that you have joined us virtually this morning. It is an act of love that we gather in this way during this time of pandemic response. We hope that this service gives you an opportunity to pause for a few minutes to gather in community so that we might care for each other, take a moment to reflect on our own well-being, discover opportunities for spiritual refreshment and service in the wider world, even as we are at a personal distance. We will gather this way throughout the winter. Our religious exploration program is offering opportunities for children and youth to gather virtually as well. Please visit www.uucworcester.org for more information on these get-togethers, as well as other opportunities to meet for discussion and support. For safety purposes, and so that we might come to know you better, as you are able, please include your name on your video feed. Please note that this service is being live streamed on Facebook and recorded for future availability on the church YouTube channel, as well as our website worship archive. Following the service this morning, you are invited to join us for a virtual fellowship hour. Once again, welcome, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Maturity is when the world opens up and you realize you're not the center of it. M.J. Crone.
When I grow up, I will be tall enough to reach the branches that I need to reach to climb the trees you get to climb when you're grown up. And when I grow up, I will be smart enough to answer all the questions that you need to know, the answers to before you're grown up. And when I grow up, I will eat sweets every day on the way to work, and I'll go to bed late every night. And I will wake up when the sun comes up, and I will watch cartoons until my eyes go square, and I won't care 'cause I'll be all grown up. And when I grow up, I will be strong enough to carry all the heavy things you have to haul around with you when you're a grown up. And when I grow up, I will be brave enough to fight the creatures that you have to fight beneath the bed each night to be a grown up. And I will wake up when the sun comes up, and I will spend all day just lying in the sun, and I won't burn 'cause I'll be all grown up.
We now take an offering that allows us to exercise the all-important generosity of the Spirit, an offering that will support this self-supporting church and its many ministries. The gift of the congregation will be most gratefully received. You can give by texting 508-231-5335 or visiting our website www.uucworcester.org/offertory/. The offering will now be received. Thank you.
Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the darkest night. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arrive.
Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a spiritual community where we find meaning. Ours is a sharing community where our joys are amplified, a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. We take this moment to reflect on our joys and sorrows and acknowledge the mutual support of our community. If you have a joy or sorrow to share, please raise your hand virtually or physically, and we'll unmute your audio. If you'd like your joy or sorrow read, you can type it into the chat. Please precede your text with the phrase, "read me." Does anyone have a joy or sorrow to share?
It looks like Lindsay Heffernan has a joy.
Yep, Lindsay Heffernan has a joy. Can we spotlight Lindsay?
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I just say I have such an incredible joy. I feel like I have been a little disconnected from this community for the last couple of months, but to log back in and see these amazing young people just is bringing me so much happiness. I think I was your instructor 3 years ago for OWL, which is crazy, and had some really silly and ridiculous and important conversations, but to see all of you be so big and so strong and so powerful just is filling my heart with joy. I love you all. Charlie, extra shout out to you, my love.
Thank you, Lindsay. I love you too.
There are a few joys and sorrows in the chat. One is from Lee Johnson Erickson to say that she's so proud of the young people. Bernadette says, thank you so much for a terrific service today. Laura Lenahan says, my grandmother will be 95 this week. Congrats to your grandmother. Diane Mann says, our friend Betsy Wood from the food pantry lost her mother yesterday. Peace to her. So let's think of Betsy Wood in this time. Kim Napoleone says, happy spring, everyone. I hiked over 4 miles yesterday and I feel great now. And Jessie Trowbridge says, we have a joy. We just found out that we will have a new cousin this fall. So congrats to the Trowbridges.
All right, Evan, go ahead. What's your joy or sorrow?
Hi. I have a joy that I was able to participate with a few other UUCW members on Friday at a climate rally. Similar to today's service, led by a lot of young people in the city of Worcester, through Sunrise Worcester, through 350 Central Mass, and through the congregation coming together on climate justice. And it was just really powerful to see other folks coming together, especially from our congregation and others around Worcester, and a very meaningful tribute by people from the Nipmuc Nation. If you haven't noticed, check out City Hall. They pressured the city government to have the Nipmuc Nation flag be flying at City Hall. So just wanted to share that that was a meaningful contribution.
Thank you very much. That is very inspiring.
I have a joy. It's Robin.
Yes, there you go, Robin.
Hi. I have a joy today that these youth group young people have been working for a long time on this service, really, really long, because they put together this service last year to be done live. And the week before they were to go on, we had to shut down due to COVID. So it's been quite a year with a lot of changes and emotions, and this youth group has stuck together every week, all through the summer, and they continue to, and it's really inspiring to me. And they wanted to hold on to the message still that they concocted last year, and they even made all of the group things that they were going to do happen, even though they had to do this all separately. So kudos to the youth group.
Hi, y'all. I guess my joy is very much in the same vein. It's really exciting for me that I get to I am obviously in a college situation and I haven't been able to participate in a lot of church things in a while, and the fact that I get to watch this youth group service, which is always just so much fun and a delight and is obviously made with such great love. It's just wonderful. I'm proud of all you guys. You did great.
Thank you very much, Maggie. All right.
I can't spotlight myself. I have a sorrow. My mentor from when I first went to divinity school, Reverend Dr. Elizabeth Strong, died yesterday, and she went out the way that she lived her life, and it's a real loss to me. She was my mentor, but I'm also really glad that I was able to send a text that was read to her before she died, and that I had her in my life. So anyway, I just needed to bring her legacy of universalism and love to the table. She helped me be who I am.
Thank you very much for sharing, Cheryl. All right, go ahead, Dad.
Thank you, Charlie. I'm just proud of my son, Charlie. Today, actually seeing you here actually just makes me think of what a fine young man you're growing up to be, and I'm being reminded of that actually, and I'm proud of you. I love you.
I love you too, Dad. Thank you very much.
Karen Stevenson has joy, and her joy this service is the service and the fact that youth group is in person. So she's looking forward to seeing everyone soon.
Go ahead, Linda.
Linda, you're muted.
Linda, I still think you're muted.
I'm trying.
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Okay. So I just wanted to say that I came to the church 5 or 6 years ago. I've kind of lost track. And it was maybe right around now or February. And I think I knew pretty soon that this is where I wanted to be. But then the youth service that year solidified it. I just knew that a church that could produce and love and support such amazing young people was where I wanted to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
We have a message from Facebook Live from Reverend Aaron Payson, who says, "Good work, youth group. Your minister loves you."
Thanks, Aaron.
All right, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, first of all, great service, and I like the talent that has emerged from this group. It's they're quite creative, and it's just a joy to watch. And I can sit and relax. That's it.
Thank you, Paul.
Amy Lanning has a joy. Her joy is the magic of Zoom, allowing her to return home to the church she grew up in from 300 miles away. Thank you very much. It's great to see you.
Also, Laura Lenahan had something in the chat saying that she hopes Mason can grow up in these footsteps. Looks like we got everybody, Charlie.
Excellent. All right.
One
One
more
from Maura. All right, Maura, go ahead.
Good morning. I want to say how incredibly overflowing my heart is right now. This youth group is an amazing group. I've watched some of you for a long time growing up, and I am over the moon with love for my Conrad and for all of you in this group.
Thank you very much, Maura. We too are overflowing with love. All right, it looks like that's everybody. Is there anybody else?
I did, this is Paul. I did type something out in the message.
Yes. All right. Paul says, one more thing. All this would not have happened without the leadership of Robin. That is absolutely correct. Robin, we love you very much. And we absolutely appreciate you and for everything you do.
We owe it all to Robin, truly.
That we do.
Are you kidding me? Do you think I could have put together this presentation? No.
Okay, it looks like that's everybody. Thank you everyone for sharing your joys and sorrows. They're all appreciated.
May we remember those who have spoken, those they have named, and those we hold in silence in our hearts. Amen, and blessed be. May we
Hi, I'm Alana Keogh, and I'm going to be playing Good Riddance by Green Day. Question
Hi, I'm Rowan.
And this is my reflection on growing up. When I was younger, my dad and I drove to Providence to help my grandparents get on their train for Washington, D.C. While helping to put their luggage in the overhead compartments, we noticed the train starting to move. We were suddenly on a train heading to Washington, D.C., completely unprepared on some random weekend in February. We luckily were home that night, but I'll never forget that feeling of uncertainty set in. I think all of us deal with this emotion. And that's what growing up is. It's the pain of feeling like the train is going way too fast, speeding towards adulthood with no way to get off or hit the brakes. You longingly look out of the windows at the afternoons with no homework and the weekends of just fun fading into the distance. You see the burden of college essays and jobs and relationships and moving out and trying to find balance in your life coming at you at full force. But no matter how scary this train may be that we're all on, there is something special about it. You can witness the relationships with the people around you and your relationship with yourself change. Especially during this last year, I've seen more value in the things I love but could never get around to. I saw the value in just riding bikes around the neighborhood or climbing a tree. I've gotten to enjoy the outdoors more. I've learned to endure, but also grow closer with my family as the entire world shut down. I learned to handle the fact that the entire world shut down. I experienced a milestone birthday out on my front lawn eating ice cream. Whatever age you may be, growing up is scary and always seems too fast. But you're not on the train alone. And every day that you gain more independence is also another day to embrace your childhood and the things you love.
Growing up means many different things to each person, but to me, growing up is more than just physical or intellectual growth, but the growth of your own belief in yourself and in what you can accomplish. As everyone grows up, they start to learn that they don't need someone right by their side for every tumble they take. I know for sure that, as I have come of age and continue on with my journey of life, more and more challenging obstacles arose in my path, and yes, they were often very difficult to overcome, or they took a long time to surpass, but eventually, I worked through them. Privilege has also grown with my maturity, and I am being trusted with more and more important duties and responsibilities. For example, just a few weeks ago, I sat behind the wheel for the first time. Nothing crazy, obviously, but I was able to ease my mother's car into one parking space from another, with my mother in the passenger seat, of course. My mom made sure to teach me what went where, what everything did, and how to control them as well ahead of time. The slow, leisurely roll was the fastest the car ever came to, but even though I barely went farther than a few yards, and I never passed walking speed, I felt on top of the entire world. Not only was I finally being trusted with this immense opportunity and responsibility, but I succeeded in doing so, and I was able to build up my own self-esteem knowing that I did it, and that nothing went wrong. Although driving for the first time was a complete blast, I also truly realized the power behind the machine that I was controlling. Never before had I felt in charge of anything so dangerous, and that on its own seems to me as a step up in growing up as well. Not only was I careful in controlling this large, dangerous machine, but I was also able to realize how much of a huge responsibility it was for me to take power over this life-taking mechanism. If I were a bystander watching this event unfold from anywhere besides the driver's seat, I would have just laughed at how slow the car was going. But when I was in the car at that moment, nothing else mattered. I was rolling in a car, a real car, and no one else was controlling it but me. It really is a powerful feeling, I tell you.
Hi, once again, I'm Alana Keogh, and I'm a senior member of the youth group this year. For my reflection, I'm going to be reading my college essay that is mostly about my experience with religion and forming my own opinions around that. and the confidence that I've gotten through forming these own opinions. A lot of this is thanks to this congregation because of the religious freedom and acceptance that this community offers. So, you're going to hell, my fellow first grade classmate stated to me. At 6 years old, we were small, impressionable minds created by the standards our parents had set for us. For him, the religious standard was believing in a higher power that he called God, while my parents had me discover what I believed in on my own. My classmates' not-so-kind words were told to me after I mentioned that I didn't believe in God, something I had probably heard my atheist father say. It was an interaction that I'm sure he doesn't remember, especially all these years later, but it was the first time I realized what it meant to be different from those around me. As I grew up, I continued to have similar experiences where classmates didn't understand my perspective on religion. Once I made the switch from public to private school, where I am now, I was able to find spaces where I started to feel accepted for my views. I joined the diversity committee early on at my school, and I realized that advocating for others was my passion. I learned to take the communication skills that I had acquired from having those uncomfortable conversations as a kid and use them to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion at my predominantly white school. I began to use my past experiences of being misunderstood and feeling unheard as stepping stones to grow my school's ability in making sure that all students feel included in our community. I've had many experiences where I've been able to be an advocate for myself and others, and I credit my ability to do this to the accepting community that I've been a part of here at UUCW. I'm so thankful for the amazing mentors and teachers I've had throughout my time here, and I'm so lucky that my parents chose to raise me as a member of this church when I was younger. If I hadn't grown up with the intellectual and religious freedom that my parents and this congregation allowed me to have, I don't think I would be as confident as I am now when it comes to expressing my opinions and beliefs. Forming my own opinions on my own has been a difficult journey, but in the end, it has allowed me to bring passion and certainty to everything I engage in. This self-discovery has also shown me how my dream to be a teacher can be tied into my passion for social justice, both of which have been developed through this congregation and the activities that we've engaged in as the youth group. I've realized how education is essential for living in society and that teachers are entrusted with giving this knowledge and providing instruction. I want to be an educator because it will give me the opportunity to guide young children who are on the path to discovering what they believe in, just like I was in first grade. I want to be a teacher that shows children the value of education and that differences aren't something that should be feared, a message I believe more people need to hear these days. I definitely would not be who I am today if it were not for the community at UUCW, so I want to thank all of those who have impacted my life or have been there for me as a support as I've grown up. Thank you.
Good morning. Part of growing up for me was just learning to be myself. I know that sounds kind of corny, but it was real for me. A lot of people say they have random thoughts and mistakes they made pop back into their head when they're trying to sleep. That can be good, it means you're reflective, but for a long time I would do that so much that it wasn't really learning from my mistakes, it was just harping on them, which made me afraid to make mistakes at all. I was so stressed out by the little things I said in conversation that I stopped trying to make friends, and once you stop trying, it's really easy to be a recluse and just not start again. Luckily, my family always encouraged me to try new things, so a couple years ago I started getting better. But it was actually a really big deal for me to personally join youth group because I did it entirely myself. I heard someone talking about something, I thought it sounded fun, so I put myself out there and I ended up joining. That sounds like such a simple thing, but it showed a marked change in me. Change usually comes from mistakes. And mistakes are most common when trying new things. But the biggest thing I learned as I matured was that change isn't bad. It definitely can be. But the only way to discover your favorite food, person, or experience is to try it, to find it. Sometimes you won't like it, other times you will, but many of my favorite things I was once skeptical about. I guess the biggest thing for me then was figuring out over the years that these old reflections are opportunities. Now, if I find myself harping on something, I think about what to do differently, not what I could have done differently. That's in the past. Or sometimes I'll just forget about it. Some things I try to view as mistakes mentally are really just parts of me, little quirks. I still think about past blunders probably a little too much, but it's important that I at least know that I'm a good person and that the little mistakes I make don't define who I am. What defines me is that I'm dynamic, that I notice the bad things, and instead of focusing on the little details and how awful everything is, I use the bad things to inform the good things and inform the future.
Hey, I'm Max Anderson. Just turned 18 years old, and I was born in Holyoke, Massachusetts. My dad has been in the Army since before I was born, and now that he's retired, I live here in Massachusetts. And since he was in the Army, I've moved every 3 years to a different state. By this point, I've lived in every part of the country, whether it's north, south, east, or west. Early in my life, he was deployed a lot. And when he was deployed, I didn't have communication with him. But when he comes back, I'm very excited. And we like to have a lot of fun blacksmithing, hiking out in the woods, or just taking advantage of whatever the state has to offer. And when I move to a new state, I have to make new friends every time. Sometimes they say they'll keep track of you when you move to a new state, but it doesn't really happen. And I've noticed that every state I've moved to and every friend group I find, they're completely different from each other. They're all unique in their own special way. Some like to go deep into the woods with me, or some like to play board games deep into the night instead. One unique thing that I found out about these friend groups is they all shape me. Sometimes they show me new role models, and sometimes they just give me new ideas that I just never thought about before. I can tell you with this youth group that I've met like 2 years ago, I've learned a lot about talking with new people. I mean, that's something I've learned about before, but right now I've gotten more experienced with it. We have a nice big youth group, and all of the people in this youth group have very different ideas. And I found that together, we really can connect with each other because of our youth group leader, first off, and also because we enjoy each other's company. And I know that after meeting this youth group, I'll continue to be shaped by more friend groups, to the point where I'll be enriched by other people constantly.
Hello, my name is Gareth McCullough. I'm an upcoming Bridger in youth group here at UUCW. Around this time last year, the last few of my classes of my senior year were moved to be online. I had just been tasked with writing a speech for last year's youth group service. I wrote about things that at the time meant something to me, but as the theme of the youth group service, Growing Up, suggests, things change and we move on. Little did I know quite how much things would change. I had thankfully just decided to take a gap year once my senior year was over, as my brother did before me. A lot has happened since then, as we all know. There were many ups and downs during the last year, as there will be when life persists. Over the last year, I have had many opportunities for growth, some of which I would not have believed if you told me 2 years ago. For instance, I finally earned my Eagle Scout rank after I was able to start and complete my Eagle project in the summer after making sure I could do it safely during the pandemic. A lot of that was made possible by the help of members of the youth group and their families, so thank you for that. I've also been attending online classes to get some credits during what was supposed to be my gap year. Even though I haven't been to my Aikido dojo that I've been going to since I was 11, in roughly a year now, I've been able to use some aspects of the Zen training I had been pursuing to better focus on my work and be patient with online classes, as I'm sure most of us have experienced can be rather sluggish at times. Throughout the pandemic, I've also been lucky enough to do things such as play bass in an outdoor show with one of my good friends, and attend my last year as a teen volunteer at We Agora Online, a summer program many from UUCW attend. I feel incredibly fortunate to be part of the community here at UUCW. I have met some of my best friends through the youth group here. Something I'll always appreciate are the Deep Roots trips, Deep Roots service trips. Not only do we complete rewarding tasks, helping out at the homeless shelter, but I've also gotten to bond with my peers over the work that we do. Not just the work, but the 8-hour van rides and the late-night roof talks. I'll never forget those trips. As the pandemic has been difficult for us all, we did not get to go on our usual service trip, and outings were limited, but we made do and we found ways to stay connected. I would like to say a huge thank you to all the adults who contributed to my experiences in youth group and my journey to where I am now. Thank you to all the chaperones who make sure we don't get into too much trouble when we're able to safely meet in person, and especially to Robin, who takes time out of her day just to have to deal with us when we're on Zoom online. Thank you to the Deep Roots chaperones and teachers, Paul, Bart, Lee, Bruce, Robin, and my COA mentor, Joe Zawalski. Thank you to Aaron Payson, who was kind enough to be my representative on my Eagle Scout Board of Review. And this brings me to my last mention, all of you. Thank you to all of the adults, teenagers, and kids alike who have helped me grow into the person I am today. You all have a unique impact on the world, and I appreciate you for doing your best, whatever that may be.
I used to be able to tell you my exact roadmap for how I wanted my life to play out. Granted, I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I at least knew where I wanted my end goals to be. But when the pandemic hit, that all changed. The road changed, and grew longer, and I wasn't sure where I was headed. But this last year really put growing up into perspective better than ever before. I got more time with my family, time I couldn't always have when I was at work, dance class, or even youth group. We watched movies, started shows, and got moments that we wouldn't have had together if COVID didn't exist. Growing up at a time where close contact could be deadly is scary at our age. It prevents you from experiencing those glorious moments that all teenagers get to have before they move forward into the world. But we adapted. We found ways, and we're still finding ways to be together. The internet is one of those saving graces that didn't fail us during this time, and kept us close with the others who we couldn't see as frequently as we wished. Growing up isn't easy, and the road bumps of life that this world throws at you don't help. In recent weeks, I've had more bumps than ever. It felt like I had lost a part of myself, the spark that makes me me. It took time of me getting back into my element, as life continued to throw everything at me, like losing my childhood dog shortly after this new year had begun. But I learned there is always good in the worst of times. You can't let the pain and anger swell up inside you and change all those good parts. Growing up is about change, adapting to it, learning upon it, and growing to the person that you've always wanted to become. I'm a dancer. I always have been. It's truly what I love to do. I'm an artist who wants to take these moments when it all seems lost and turn it into something that helps make things seem just a bit clearer. I wrote a couple years ago, all it takes is one giant leap into the unknown to find your purpose. The chances and risks you take determine what kind of life you're going to live. Chase the fate that is calling to you loudly. Hold on to it and never let it go. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but I do know that I'll be dancing through whatever happens.
History, history, history. Yeah.
Slow down, you crazy child. You're so ambitious for a juvenile. But then if you're so smart, then tell me, why are you still so afraid? Where's the fire? What's the hurry about? You better cool it off before you burn it out. You got so much to do and only so many hours in a day. But you know that when the truth is told, that you can get what you want, or you can just get old. You're gonna kick off before you even get halfway through. Ooh, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? Slow down, you're doing fine. You can't be everything you wanna be before your time. Although it's so romantic on the borderline tonight, tonight. Well, too bad, but it's the life you lead. You're so ahead of yourself that you forgot what you need. Though you can see when you're wrong, you know you can't always see when you're right. You're right. You got your passion, you got your pride, but don't you know that only fools are satisfied? Dream on, but don't imagine it will all come true. When will you realize Vienna waits for you? Disappear for a while. It's alright, you can afford to lose a day or two. Ooh, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? Oh, and you know that when the truth is told, you can get what you want, or you can just get old. You're gonna kick off before you even get halfway through. Why don't you realize Vienna waits for you? When will you realize Vienna waits for you?
When I grow up, I will be tall enough to reach the branches that I need to reach to climb the trees you get to climb when you're grown up.
And when I grow up, I will be smart enough to answer all the questions that you need to know the answers to before you're grown up. And when I grow up, I will eat sweets every day, all the way to work, and I will go to bed late every night. And I will wake up when the sun comes up, and I will watch cartoons until my eyes go square. And I won't care, 'cause I'll be all grown up when I grow up. When I grow up, when I grow up, I will be strong enough to carry all the heavy things you have to haul around with you when you're a grown up. And when I grow up, when I grow up, I will be brave enough to fight the creatures that you have to fight beneath the bed each night to be a grown up. And when I grow up, I will have treats every day, and I'll play with things that Mom pretends that moms don't think are fun. And I will wake up when the sun comes up, and I will spend all day just lying in the sun. And I will burn, 'cause I'll be all grown up when I grow up.
When I grow up, I will be brave enough to fight the creatures that you have to fight beneath the bed each night to be a grown up.
We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones we have been waiting for. By Kimberly Quinn Johnson.
If you stand here behind me and you call me a man, and you're counting on me to come through, you should know that I'll give you the best that I can. But we all have a little more homework to do. If you're walking beside me and you wanna be friends, you should know I'm depending on you. So you gotta hang in there till the whole story ends, 'cause we all have a little more homework to do. And I've been looking in the back of the book for the answers, hoping the bell wouldn't chime. But I'm not ready to put down my pencil just yet. There are too many answers that I didn't get. I need a little less pressure and a little more time. I'm trying to follow, I am trying to lead, I am trying to find what is true. But if you're gonna stand with me, then you have to concede that we all have a little more homework to do.
Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day. You get a little bit older, a little bit taller,
turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day. And I'm a little bit older, a little bit stronger, a little bit smarter, a little bit.
Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day. And the days ahead coming on so quick you can't get out of the way. You keep running. Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day. And I'm a little bit older, a little bit faster, a little bit closer, a little bit. Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day. And the sky goes blue and the sky goes black. And no matter what you do, you can't go back. You go day into day, into day.
I turned 13, my parents got divorced, and I moved from New York City to the middle of nowhere.
Day into day, into day. I turned 13 and I kissed a boy more than once. I turned 13 and signed a virginity pledge. Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day. I was diagnosed with an eating disorder.
I failed math, but we won the championship.
And I'm a little bit braver, a little bit broader, a little bit brighter, a little bit.
I turned 13 and I had to have spinal cord surgery. God, that sucked.
Day turns to day, turns to day.
I got busted for driving my dad's pickup.
Day turns to day, turns to day. I got drunk, and I've been looking in the back of the book for the answer, hoping the bell wouldn't chime.
My parents split up.
But I'm not ready to put down my pencil just yet. There are too many answers that I didn't get. I need a little less pressure and a little more time. I'm trying to follow. I'm trying to lead. I'm trying to learn what is true. I'm trying to be what you want and I need. And we all have a little more homework. We all have a little more homework. We all have a little more homework to do. Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day. Little more homework. Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day. Little more homework. Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day. Little more homework. Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day.
Little more homework.
Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day.
Everything has its season, everything has its time. Show me a reason and I'll soon show you a rhyme. Cats sit on the windowsill, children sit in the snow. Why do I feel I don't fit in anywhere I go? Rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. I got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner of the sky. Every man has his daydreams, every man has his goals. People like the way dreams have of sticking to the soul. Thunderclouds have their lightning, nightingales have their song. And don't you see, I want my life to be something more than long. Rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. I got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner of the sky. mine seem destined to settle for something small. But I won't rest until I know I'll have it all. So don't ask where I'm going, just listen when I've gone. And far away you'll hear me singing softly to the dawn. Rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. I've got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner.
Sherry, it's your turn to give us our fellowship moment before we go into our breakout rooms.
Good morning, citizens of Woo City. Thank you so much for continuing to encourage us to imagine the greatest versions of ourselves as we can see through this delightful youth service. Today, I'm here to tell you we are embracing our goals of raising $225,000 for stewardship. We are at 60% of our way at $136 and 501,000. Let me try that again. $136,595, which represents 60.71% of our fundraising goal, thanks to you superheroes. If you haven't made your pledge yet, you can get on our website, uucworcester.org, or send in your pledge forms. The Chalice light is getting lit, but you don't want apathy to start making phone calls directly to you. Get your pledge in soon. Thanks for all who have contributed already. And let's continue with zeal, passion, might, and vigor.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you to all of you who help us bring the programs to the young people in this church, and to all of you. Next, I hope you stay with us, because we're going to put you into breakout rooms, and you can have the very opportunity to speak with a youth group member if you like, and they are really fun to talk to. I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you, parents, for bringing your young folks into this church. Thank you, young folks, for stepping up and being a part of all of it. And we will talk to you soon. Thank you.